Today we'll be reacting to Feds arrest NBA players and Mafia for scamming fans.
What's poppin', y'all? I know all of y'all that be involved in that, throwing money on sports are either ecstatic today or enraged with the money that you have lost or may have been losing, and it's no fault of your own because the feds.
Man, gambling is such a, you do it, you start asking yourself, man, how did I lose? How did I not make it? Then we find out there's a headline such as like NBA players are scamming fans in gambling.
The
Okay, let's check it out.
FBI, they arrested, can you believe they arrested Chauncey Billups, part of that legendary championship squad on the Detroit
If the FBI is involved, that's crazy though.
Pistons? But FBI Director Kash Patel, they investigated and just arrested a bunch of people involved with damn near what looks like a racket. I'm going to play you guys the clip right now.
Individuals such as Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier were taken into custody today. Former, current NBA players and coaches. What you don't know is that this is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years. The FBI led a coordinated takedown across 11 states to arrest over 30 individuals today responsible for this case, which is very much ongoing. Not only did we crack into the fraud that these perpetrators committed on the grand stage of the NBA, but we also entered and executed a system of justice against La Casa Nostra to include the Bonanno, Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchesi crime families.
This is crazy. I heard Chauncey Billups, and I thought, what the hell? Now y'all know, listen, last NBA game I played, NBA Live 06. Y'all think I'm playing. I might just throw up the
NBA 06 is wow.
CD on my story or something like that. But that I remember that era. So I'm thinking Chauncey Billups still in the NBA. Well, I'm going to give you guys some details on this, and we're going to go through some events and the specific game that they're accusing Terry Rozier of messing up several years ago. So in this tweet by Joe Pompliano, he said,
okay, give me one sec. Yeah, so the FBI is holding a press conference right now on the details around this morning sports gambling boss. Here's some of the highlights. Current and former NBA players and coaches, all right, have been arrested. This was an illegal gambling sport rigging operation that spanned years across 11 states in total. I mean, this was basically what the guy was saying, right? This is
the FBI is holding a press conference right now on the details around this morning's sports gambling bust. Here are some of the highlights. Because if you guys remember, a couple of months ago, Gilbert Arenas got arrested, and it was over some illegal gambling, but this is a very different scenario.
How many
what
people
Gilbert
are
Arenas
involved?
got arrested for was throwing some poker games at your crib. I think at his crib in Encino or something like that. This is very different, and this is far worse, because whatever Gilbert Arenas had going on, that's rich people stuff. This is people stealing from you honest sports bettors, right? Which I do not approve of. Y'all know I do not get involved in that whatsoever.
This is why I've been saying this thing before. I've been saying there's no way, there's no way you don't think these companies know people want to gamble and they make it fair. There's nothing fair like that in life. They don't want you to win, they don't want you to succeed. So obviously, why would they make gambling fair for everyone? That doesn't make sense.
But people stealing from you illegally too, because this is legal now. Like they legalized it across America and it didn't used to be a thing. I do think it is probably for the destruction of people's brains. Not why they legalized it, but I think that's the result of it. But it is what it is. Current and former NBA players and coaches Chauncey Billups, Terry Rozier, and Damon Jones have been arrested. This was an illegal gambling and sports rigging operation that spanned years across 11 states. In total, 30 individuals have been arrested.
13 Mafia members. Wow. That's these guys. All right. Wow.
13 Mafia members. The case involves La Cosa Nostra, the Italian Mafia. I didn't even know this still existed. I mean, people talk, we've seen more members or former members on Vlad TV than, I know Vlad's already making some phone calls of anybody associated with this trying to get some information. But the case is still ongoing, so you might wait until it's over. Charges include illegal gambling, wire fraud, and extortion. There are two separate indictments. This is very important. The first involves 6 defendants accused of participating in a...
It must be really bad for FBI to be involved. I'm just thinking, like, how did they catch them? How did they get there? But it's like these guys probably have been studying them for a while.
Sports corruption scheme that exploited insider information involving NBA players and teams. The defendants leveraged their connections to place prop bets based on confidential insider information, winning tens of thousands of dollars per bet. The second indictment involves 31 defendants charged with participating in a nationwide scheme to rig illegal poker games. The FBI says they used high-tech cheating technology to steal millions of dollars from victims in underground poker games that were secretly fixed. The two cases are...
So they use high-tech cheating devices and the game was still fixed. So it's like even if you're trying to still win after game fixed, we still have a way to find out that we're still like cheating to make sure you lose. That's how much they didn't want these guys to win.
Are separate, but there are 3 overlapping defendants, including former NBA player and coach Damon Jones. So these people, they already got bread in their career, and they still want to steal.
They still want to take more money, dang.
The FBI says that NBA player Terry Rozier told the defendants that he was going to leave a game early on March 23rd, 2023 with an injury. Keep in mind, this is very, very important. One of the defendants, Terry Rozier, is telling them that he's going to leave the game early with an injury. That type of information is not privy to the public that are betting. The defendants then placed more than $200,000 worth of wagers on the unders for his prop bets, with Rozier leaving the game after 9 minutes. Those bets paid out tens of thousands of dollars in profits, and the defendants and...
You put in 200,000 and your profit is not even hundreds, it's tens of thousands. Excuse me? It's not 100,000s. I don't know. I feel like that's not... I don't know if this makes sense, but if you're going to do something bad like this, just like, it's only one time, right? Make all the millions you want to make and run away.
Rozier counted the money.
They're not going to run now because the FBI caught them. So
at his house. I want to go over this a little bit because if you look at what I did was I cross-referenced tweets based on that date. And you see a couple of different people that find this odd, people that are involved in this whole game. Like this one guy, Noah, said on March 23rd, he said, "Is there any reason why there are 0 Terry Rozier props on any books or DFS sites? Is he out tonight? Did I miss something? Very odd." And then some guy says, "Nah, dude, what is going on?" And then someone says, "I locked him earlier. I hope he's not injured." He says, "Usually the sites don't just pull a player off the board unless he's questionable or out. No report of either." So that's very odd, right? Another person also said, "Terry Rozier's situation smells like ish, man. So weird. Just gets pulled forever on all books and then comes back with a 25 line with no news. What am I missing?" And then people here, and this was back in January, it was also reported that he was being investigated. Federal prosecutors were investigating him based on that game in 2023. And Tim Reynolds said,
imagine like the sad parts where the actual people that gamble, the guys that are like gambling with real money, playing the game fair and everything, when they realize how this was all planned. Like, dang, all the analysis, I know he's gonna score more than 20 points, trying to convince your friends he's gonna do it, and then you find out you were never wrong. In fact, you were so right. The issue was they cheated you though. All right, this is why it's not always good to gamble.
The Wall Street Journal reports that Terry Rozier's performance in its March 23rd, 2023 game with Charlotte is being probed by federal investigators. Rozier has not been accused of wrongdoing, we can confirm. Well, clearly he's been accused of wrongdoing now because there's charges. So that's another development here as well. So this game was very, very odd. Now, fans started posting clips of Terry Rozier playing terribly in another game. That was not the game that they were talking about.
What the hell? What the hell? What the hell? You.
Oh my God. Oh, hell no.
Yo.
Get your ass on,
and you'll be watching the game and thinking to yourself, man, he's playing, but no, he's intentionally showing the game. Like that was nah.
Rozier turned it over again, having a tough night. And Rozier off the DHO, and he turned it over.
Wow. Wow. And this guy could be intentionally pulling all this. Nah. Do you see how many he made a mistake? He didn't even come close to.
That all year. Empty corner two-man game. Rozier with a three.
Oh my God.
Nah.
Fuck, man. Get your ass on,
So
right?
who's to say? Like, you see plays like this and you're like, huh, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
The FBI says that former Raptors player Jonte Porter was threatened to participate in the sports gambling scheme because of his gambling debts. Teams that were bet on during the sports gambling scheme include the Charlotte Hornets, Portland Trail Blazers, LA Lakers, and the Toronto Raptors. The rigged poker games occurred in the Hamptons, Miami, Las Vegas, and Manhattan. The poker scheme targeted victims who were lured to participate in rigged poker games by the chance to play
Man, the
along.
craziest thing about the FBI, let me tell you how crazy it is. You guys have been watching, and I bet with you, if the FBI come knocking on your door, there's no, oh, he's not guilty. It's only, oh, I'm guilty. I'm guilty, and this is how much time, like, you will stay because you admitted you were guilty. That's it. They already know. Like, they studied it for how long though? But look at all the information. Dang, let's keep going.
Former professional athletes. These athletes included Chauncey Billups and Damon Jones. The FBI says that, so there's two. Now they're talking about the illegal poker ring that was going on. That's different from the sports fixing, even though there are overlapping people. The FBI says that the defendants utilized altered shuffling machines to read the cards in the deck and then relayed that information to an off-site operator. The off-site operator, known as...
Hold on. Let's look at this again. I didn't know about this. The FBI says the defendants utilized altered shuffling machines to read the cards in the deck and then relay that information to an off-site operator. The off-site operator, known as quarterback, then sends that information to someone at the table. I've always felt like if you go to a casino, you're meant to lose. Sports betting, you're meant to lose. With sports betting, it's a bit more different, right? Because you can be like, hey, it's like less more control than the casino. Now it's the same. But this is a casino kind of game, poker and everything. And it's like, there's for sure machines like this in some casinos. We don't have to, you can't lie to me.
The quarterback then sent that information to someone at the table. The FBI also says that the defendants utilized other cheating technologies, including poker chip trays that read cards through hidden cameras, special contact lenses and glasses that could read marked cards, and X-ray poker tables that could read cards.
Do you guys understand the technology? This is giving futuristic spying movies like X-ray poker table. I've never heard of an X-ray poker table. Means that the table is probably seeing your cards when you flip it and keep. Dang, that's crazy.
Down. It seems like the Mafia, even with new levels of technology, they decided to adapt with the technology. Said, yo, why are we catching bodies out here in the streets? Why are we doing all of this? Yo, get the tech in here and let's start finessing. And this is some crazy finesse. I respect.
This is crazy.
The FBI says that the defendants robbed a victim at, oh, well, I guess, you still got to go back to the basics.
Oh my God. Why would they rob somebody at gunpoint?
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
You guys are making enough money already.
Sometimes at gunpoint to acquire a rigged shuffling machine. So they're even robbing people for these machines. The sports gambling investigation is called Operation Nothing But Net, while the poker investigation is called Operation Royal Flush. The FBI has been working on this investigation for 4 years, with victims losing at least $7 million. One specific.
Oh, wow. So we're thinking 2021, this operation started.
Victim lost at least $1.8 million, and the FBI reviewed thousands of hours of video evidence and executed more than 24 search warrants. These are just accusations at this point. This is really scary, man, because
the FBI said this accusation. Everybody's like, nah, they know it's not just accusations. Like, they are good. They have 4 years. FBI is studying you, and they come and say we don't think you're guilty. They know.
Dog, Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier And we can even see people thinking it was fishy, like people that constantly sports bet. Like on that day, they were like, yo, this is odd. What's going on here? Terry Rozier's attorney responded on his behalf and said the following. We have represented Terry Rozier for over a year. A long time ago, we reached out to these prosecutors to tell them we should have an open line of communication. They characterized Terry as a subject, not a target, but at 6 a.m. this morning, they called to tell me FBI agents were trying to arrest him in a hotel. It's unfortunate that instead of allowing him to self-surrender, they opted for a photo op. They wanted the misplaced glory of embarrassing a professional athlete with a perp walk. That tells you a lot about the motivations in this case. They appear to be taking the word of spectacularly incredible sources rather than relying on actual evidence of wrongdoing. Terry was cleared by the NBA, and these prosecutors revived that non-case. Terry is not a gambler, but he is not afraid of a fight, and he looks forward to winning this fight. The U.S. attorney said, one of the most brazen sports corruption schemes since online sports betting became widely legalized in the United States.
Why would they even legalize it? And they have the laws and everything for a reason.
An insider sports betting conspiracy that exploited confidential information about the NBA athletes and teams. This is really scary, man.
It is.
It's like you're robbing from the little guy, because so many people are addicted to this. And I understand why. Some people may not be completely addicted. Some people may just be very involved. Because when there's bread on the line, when there's some sort
money,
of risk.
when we have somebody that you have people that are making money from being a basketballer, being a basketball coach, that's okay. Some of these people make money from working at McDonald's, and they want to try and make more money by gambling, right? It's not good to gamble. We all know gambling is not right for you. Gambling will make you more broke than successful, right? But it's a case of you have to also understand that it's not just fair. Like, it's not just fair at all. Which is so unfortunate that it's actually very sad to hear this, right?
Based on a performance, it makes the game, the fight, anything that you may be watching, the sports, so much more enjoyable and just high stakes. Like, it's exciting. Even though I don't participate in it, I understand it for sure. And to see these guys allegedly using their connection, like private knowledge, to make disgusting bags of bread on top of this guy, Chauncey Billups, is an NBA coach, and he had a lucrative NBA career. Terry Rozier, he's an NBA player. But also, the thing that about like this underground, like betting and stuff like that, is how much of this is debts. So let's just theorize, complete theory over here, complete theory, not true, not saying this is true, but let's say Terry Rozier was like a gambling addict, right? And he's doing these underground gambling games that they accused Gilbert Arenas of hosting, things of that nature, and he's in huge debt. Well, how is he going to pay off the debt? Does he want to pay it off with actual money that he earns? Or can he just throw a game that doesn't even matter for his career so that they can make bread off of it? And a bunch of people can make bread off of it, and then he handles his debt. And if he doesn't handle his debt, like they're saying that the Mafia is involved, so there's physical danger to him and his family, you end up in a situation where it's like, yo, you're stuck. And it starts off with gambling debt. I remember when...
It's still bad because there are innocent people getting involved now. Like, dang.
They were trying to say that, or I don't know, they were saying that Bruno Mars owned like 50 million plus to the casino. So he got a residency just so that he could pay off what he owed, or he spent the residency money or something. I don't know if there's any validity to that, but this gambling thing, it really, really drags people in and keeps them there. But the accusation that they're making, I want the papers to come out, the ones that fully describe the full details of what was going on. It's kind of like they gave an overview today, but I want to understand how, like, the machines that they have, the tech that they had here, it just seemed so unreal. Like, it was such a professional operation, which an NBA player or coach is not going to put together.
Yeah, somebody else has to be involved.
Like, there have to be people that have studied this and are experts and are putting it together. But this is exciting, to say the least. I wonder what other sports are involved with this. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Anybody else you got your eye on? Like, subscribe, and
hit the like button. Comment what you'd like me to react to next. Hit that subscribe button. I'll check you guys again. What do you guys think? Do you guys gamble? Would you guys still gamble? How do you feel about the whole NBA thing? Man, I'll see you guys later. Take care of yourself. All right.